Brian Norcross here with an update on Tropical Storm Debby this early Monday morning. Here's the latest 6 a.m. update from the National Hurricane Center. Winds still estimated at 80 miles per hour, slowing down now, and notice north-northeast. That's that bend that it's beginning to make that is eventually going to take it up into Georgia, and the pressure is down to 979 millibars, and this is probably going to be it because you can see at the latest 6 a.m. update it is just offshore. If there's any good news here for most people, not for the people in this small community of Horseshoe Beach there on the Big Bend of Florida, Steinhatchee looks like it's going to be okay, but Cedar Key has got flooding going on this morning. But for those folks, they're getting the worst of it. There you see as the eye comes around and the water is being pushed toward Horseshoe Beach. Here's Cedar Key down here. So the Gulf water is pushed in there. Steinhatchee right here, where our Mike Seidel is located, they already got this band here, but the back side of it is not very strong, so they're not going to get the big push of water that they got just to the south there. But we see these strong bands. This is the eye wall moving in here to, this is Taylor County here and Dixie County, Florida. And these counties are getting it, but these are relatively unpopulated counties. I mean, we're not pleased for what's happening for the people there, but this is the least populated part of Florida. And all those green boxes are flash flood warnings. So the rain has been relentless there along the coast, and they extend even farther south. Here are the winds right now. You see gusting to 39 at Gainesville and Lake City, 45 at Perry, Tallahassee 30. Tallahassee is going to escape here without too much from this system because it made that bend to the right, and last night it kind of jogged to the right down when it was near Tampa. That took it just away from Tallahassee just a bit, and also even Perry looks like it's going to get the backside. Perry's going to get winged by the eye wall, but not the worst of it. This is going to go up this way, up in toward Georgia. Looking farther down, though, these outer bands are really intense, and it's a bad morning to be out driving around. So if you can wait for these bands to clear your area before you head out, that would be good. We've had tornadoes in these cells, these bright red cells, now pushing toward Winter Haven, but there's a band and a band and a band here, and they're all going to rotate through, and this tail of the system is going to stay with the system. So even though they're going to get a little less intense, this is not going away anytime soon. Even when the system was up into Georgia and South Carolina, this moisture tail is going to continue across Florida. So we may end up continuing with some flooding problems, although the gusts with those squalls are not going to be as intense as they are this morning because the overall system is going to weaken. Wider view, okay, there's the core of your hurricane right there, just about to come ashore. We're already getting some moisture up here in the Carolinas, but this is really not much. This is related to another system, but you can see the two systems. There was the old system, and now here comes right there. Here comes the tropical moisture coming in. It's going to take a while, but you're going to start feeling that along the Carolina coast. Now, here's the storm surge underway at this moment right now. I'm recording this at 6:18 a.m. And look at it, as I was saying, Cedar Key, 4.6 feet above normal high tide, and Horseshoe Beach just to the north, and Steinhatchee here, all these places getting the direct storm surge from the hurricane at the moment. Clearwater Beach, not much, just a foot above normal high tide, but in Tampa Bay, look at this, almost 3 feet up near downtown Tampa at Old Port Tampa, and that's because the wind has sort of been continuously pushing water in the bay, so the high tide pushes the water in, then it can't come out because the wind is holding it back. So that's what's going on in Tampa. This is going to let up, obviously, as the storm moves inland and those winds let up. So here's the latest forecast from the Hurricane Center in terms of the cone. Now remember, the effects of this storm are way, way, way outside the cone. So the idea is it moves up into North Florida, south of Valdosta, Georgia, and slowly weakens here through the day. When we say PM, this is nominally the middle of the afternoon, and then moving over toward the Brunswick area. Now, the forecast gets very uncertain as we move forward in time here. This part is pretty certain that it's going to move up in here somewhere, the center. Remember that the circulation is like this. The moisture is huge, and then there's a big tail on it going down here. So the whole thing is moving that way, so that by Tuesday, it's somewhere probably in South Georgia, and then it gets very, very uncertain. The Hurricane Center is basing its forecast on the idea that it's going to meander but continue in this general direction slowly. Like this is, let's start today, Monday this afternoon, tomorrow afternoon. This is already Friday afternoon, Saturday afternoon. So the idea is this just crawls. Saturday morning, that's Saturday morning, just crawls along. So that's the idea that it just, moves very, very slowly. And the computer forecast models are all over the place, and including the possibility, by the way, that the stall occurs here in Georgia, not over here in South Carolina. And even if it occurs in Georgia, South Carolina is still going to get a lot of rain, or that it moves back into South Georgia, or in this case, all the way over to Atlanta or to New Orleans. But in any case, the way to look at this is we don't know where the stall is going to be. If it's going to be in there, then the wind is going to come like this, and that's going to provide some storm surge on the coast of the Carolinas. If it occurs over here, that's going to move everything up, and the rain will be in a different place, and of course it's pushing moisture upstate in South Carolina and up above the Piedmont in North Carolina and so forth into the higher elevations and the hillier country, which enhances the rain, and then all that rain has to run downhill to the Atlantic Ocean. So I don't want anybody to look at any of these maps, including this rain map, and say, okay, we know exactly where the heaviest rain is going to be. In this case, the forecast for Charleston down to Savannah is, look at this, this is up in the 2 feet range here. Some areas 30 inches is the forecast, but the bullseye could move one way or the other, or could be stretched out, could be less rain over a larger area, could be all kinds of possibilities, all in this corridor here. And I would even extend the corridor even a little west to include much of the southern part of Georgia as a possibility. So the forecast is based on it moving and keeping moving slowly. That's not 100% at all. So that's about the rain. Now this is about the wind, being ready now for tropical storm force winds, all of the coastal counties of South Carolina and all of southeast Georgia. This purple is ready for hurricane force winds back here in the Valdosta area. And then ready here in South Carolina for storm surge, again, depending on where the storm is. If it's here and the winds come like this, the storm surge is going to be to the right of where the center ends up. So somewhere in that area, up to 4 feet above normal high tide. And as anybody that's been there, anybody that lives there knows, that's a lot of water, a lot of areas only a foot or two above normal high tide on a normal day. So somewhere in that area, that's a possibility to be ready for. Now the Florida thing, the purples again are where the hurricane force winds should be expected. That includes Perry, Tallahassee not. Tallahassee's on the left side. Includes counties here, Lafayette County, Suwannee County, inland counties in North Florida. Again, relatively lightly populated, but there are towns there, and I hope everybody is kind of hunkered down, ready for this. And then ready for tropical storm force winds, where those bands are going to occur to the right of the storm, and this is going to continue through the day here today. Storm surge, maximum storm surge here in this Big Bend of Florida, on Appalachia Bay it's called, especially down here to the right of where the storm is coming ashore. Horseshoe Beach, Cedar Key seem to be the core of it. Up to 5 feet here north of Metro Tampa, still running 3 feet or so in Tampa Bay. And that is going to continue for a while as long as that wind is blowing on shore. All right, what's going on with the steering? Well, here's the dip in the jet stream. Think of it as like snatching the storm. So it's weakening, but it's still pulling the storm to it. This is low pressure. We have a Bermuda high off here. We have the heat dome high here. This is a low pressure dip. Now, what's happening, though, is this dip is moving away, losing its grip. We have a storm that's meandering here. This is tomorrow. Now, moving ahead more, the dip lifts out. Now, where does the storm meander? We really don't know. Does this flow here come and push it back? That's what the GFS models are showing, and end up with something over in here. But the European models say, no, that's not what's going to happen. This one here is going to still exert some influence and keep it slowly moving that way. We really don't know because it's in no man's land there. And then as we move forward in time, what's going to happen eventually late in the week is another dip is going to come along, and it's going to move up to the north or out here. And exactly how it moves, we don't know. And yes, it could influence, with moisture at least, the weather in the Northeast late this week and into the weekend. There are big question marks about that. So we'll just have to see where it ends up and how these weather systems maneuver. All right, that's your morning update. We'll be back with you later on. And anybody in the threat zone, pay attention to your local authorities and what they're saying. Information and instructions are your friend in this situation. We're on Fox Weather. We're live. We have people all over the storm zone. If you don't know how to get Fox Weather, this will help you out. You can just scan that QR code or just go to that URL, foxweather.tv, and there's a whole list of instructions on if you have Roku or you have Apple or you have Samsung or LG or Amazon Fire, or you want to watch it on your phone or your iPad. All the instructions are right there, foxweather.tv. All right, stay safe, everybody, and we'll keep you up to date. Take care.